quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Oh, yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan.
Right, let's get to it. The naughty naked, the dark side of Japan. Bring it on. Oh man, yeah! It feels so good to be back! Hey reviewers, and welcome back to the channel, and I hope you guys have been well. Today we're back with P&H Motorcycles over in Crawley. We're taking out the awesome Yamaha MT-09. Now this is a bike that I have been dying to do for a long time because I'm a massive fan of the CP3 engine, and I feel like it's got so much to offer a variety of riders, you know, new and returning. And it's honestly an absolute peach of a bike, you know, absolutely awesome. It represents great value in the naked range, and it gives you so much, but I don't want to spoil it, but as you can tell, I'm a fan. Oh, look at that. Go on, the sun. There she is, gang, there she is. Right. Going to switch mics, switch cameras, and then we're going to do the proper walk around, go through all the tech specs. Let's go. Hey reviewers, and welcome back to the channel, and I hope you guys have been well. We've got an excellent break in the weather today, and we're doing a full review on the 2021-2022 Yamaha MT-09. Without further ado, let's get into it. So starting with the pricing, guys, how much does it cost? Well, in the UK at the moment, this costs £9,100, and you can put another £1,200 in and go for the SP version if you want to. So as some of you might already know then, in 2021, that's when the bike had a lot of its major updates. So the frame, the wheels, the intake system, the engine, they shaved weight off of the bike, and it had a whole host of updates. Now, weather-wise and other circumstances in the world, we didn't get around to doing it in 2021, so here we are at the start of 22. Now, let's take a look at the bike first, really. So, you know, yeah, it's very modern styling, and sometimes, you know, people have say comments about the lights on there. I happen to think they're really good. So you've got LED lighting set up front to rear, and I think it looks really, really cool. The tank is pretty awesome, really. So you've got these excellent intakes here, quite bulky there, but the rest of the bike's quite streamlined. So it's kind of like a pedigree racehorse or something, you know. But yeah, she looks really, really awesome. Round to the back, nice and sleek styling. As you can see there, it really kind of tapers off to the back of the bike. So coming back around to the front of the bike then, let's take a look at some of the specs. We'll go to the wheels first. Now, you've got 17s front and rear. Now, these are the spin forged wheels from Yamaha. Really, really cool design actually, and engineering. So they basically heat them up, and it's a really cool process to it. But basically it makes them stronger and lighter. So shaved off a little bit of weight. Same front to rear. Now, of course, the wheel design on here, or the colours, they can change depending on what you go for. But yeah, I think they look awesome. Now, rubber-wise, you've got Bridgestone S22s. These are the Battleax Hypersport. Proven tyre, very, very good, especially when they get warm as well. Really, really awesome. Now, braking wise on here as well then, so you've got 4-pot calipers, and you've got dual drilled 298 discs at the front, and I'll do a magic cut to the back, but basically that one over there is a Nissan caliper single part, and that's 245, and it's also a drilled disc. Suspension wise then, moving up to these, now they are fully adjustable at the front, and they're 41mm upside down, whichever you want to call them. And moving around to the back here, you've got preload and rebound adjustment on there. Now, the price of this bike is £9,100. You can chuck an extra £1,200 at it and go for the SP if you want to, which gets you an upgraded suspension setup and some other goodies. But being honest with you, unless you're going to do kind of track focused work, I'm not sure if it needs it. Now, colour wise, you've got a great range to choose from. This one is the Cyan Storm, but you can also go for the Icon Blue or the Tech Black as well. I'm going to put them up on the screen so you can have a look. Which one's your favourite? Let me know in the comment section. Now, of course, when you change your colour design, you can change the wheel colour design there from a orange to a blue and black. And here's at the back there, there's your Nissan caliper. And again, that's 245 drilled discs. Seating wise then, as far as I'm aware, there is only one option for this. It's 825mm height, very accommodating, easy to get on and off of, super, super easy. Worth mentioning as well though, speaking of adjustment and things, this bike as standard has adjustable height and reach for the bars, but also it's got adjustable rear sets. And the reason I mention that is because In its standard trim, if you like, as it comes to the factory right now, it's quite a relaxed ride. It's maybe not as track focused as something like a KTM 890R or Street Triple RS from Triumph, but you can make it more track focused if you want to, and if you're really going for it, you've got the option of the SP version of this bike as well. I'll flash that up on the screen. But having the ability to make that adjustment to it from stock, from factory, I think that's a really awesome inclusion. Lighting wise at the front then, now these are all LED front to rear, and it's kind of, yeah, that kind of roboty transforming look, but that, you know, I quite like that really. It's kind of Yamaha's thing, isn't it really? You've kind of got that tech side of things, or the dark side of Japan theme, and yeah, I really like it. I think it looks cool. Now let's talk about this engine then. I'll go back to the other side in a minute as well. So this, I think, is the crown jewel of this bike. I think it is absolutely awesome. This is the CP3, or the Cross Plane 3 from Yamaha, and it's 889cc. It produces 117 horsepower and it's 93 newton meters of torque. But the way in which this bike puts the power down and the flexibility that it's got and torque, even from 3000 RPM all the way up to its peak power at 10,000, is just mind-blowing. I'll take you around to the other side so you can have a look at it from here as well. Now, a lot of the technology in this bike, which I'll move on to more in a minute, but it actually comes down from the R1. It's filtered down to this bike. Now, this is a 3-cylinder, of course, then, right? So it is a triple, and I happen to honestly think that this is one of the very best triples or engines in the market, full stop, at the moment. In terms of price to performance and the way that it performs, it's just staggering. But don't want to get all gushy now. I'm going to save some of that for the ride. Transmission wise then, down here, this is a 6-speed 1 down 5 up setup. Now you do have an assist and slip clutch on this bike, which is pretty cool to have. So when you're doing those downshifts, it manages the torque back limiting, so very, very cool. And you've got an up and down quick shifter on here as well, which again is a very welcome addition to have. Now, before we get onto the tech, let's just cover the tank. So it's 14 litres, and you should be getting somewhere in the region of 150 to, I don't know, 190 miles out of a full tank. Very much dependent on your wrist though, and how fast you're riding and riding conditions. Having a look at controls then. Now, I've done the Tracer 9 GT review, so if you're interested in that, maybe watch that video after this one. But basically all of the controls are pretty much the same. So you've got your flasher at the front there, you've got your main beam, dip beam, you've got your horn, and you've got your indicators here. These here, and I'll show you in a second, this is where you're going to go up and down from your display, and you can select it. And then over on this side, of course, you've got your throttle and brake, but you've got your kill switch, ignition, and your scroll bar for the menu. In fact, just briefly, slight intermission, you do have a radial master cylinder on here as well, which is also a welcome addition. So you've got great power, great adjustment on there, and that's a Nissan setup. Right, back to the bike then. So it's not keyless or anything, not that you need any of that, but there's your screen, and you control most of it basically from here, okay, so up and down. Now, what I want you to look at is just here, this is your driving mode, okay. If I push down on this, it's going to go through the modes. You've got 4 of those. If I push the mode button, it's going to switch from driving mode or power, like the maps, to your traction control. And you've got 1, 2 and manual, I believe. So again, you've got adjustment in there. Now, going back to the driving modes very quickly, 1 to 4. 4 is your lowest power, okay? And then up, you've got 3, 2 and 1, and full power is the 1. And that's going to affect the ferocity and torque of this and responsiveness, okay? So bear that in mind when you're taking her out. If you're going to go out in like rain conditions riding, maybe drop it down to 4. Okay, over on this side then, if we push that button, now it's taking us to a settings highlight on there. Click on that. And here, scrolling up and down, so where you can go through some of your settings. Now, I'm not going to do a full deep dive or anything on here, but let's just click on vehicle settings. So quick shifter and other settings there. I'm just going to go back out. Traction control settings there. Sorry, it's a bit fiddly trying to do it with one hand. And then your displays, so lap time and your tack color as well. So there's a few things you can do on there, shift indicator and other bits on there, units, but it's an easy system to operate. Not quite as easy when you're rolling, but then again, there's not much that you're going to want to do from this side when you're going. Everything's pretty much from here, and it's literally a 1-button press, nice and easy. The main display itself is 3.5-inch TFT, and it is full colour. What I wanted to show you quickly as well, so although it's a tiny bit smaller minor gripe on it, everything is nice and easy to see though. So tachometer at the top there, there's your red line at 11. Peak power on this bike is 10,000 RPM, so worth mentioning that. And peak torque is at 7,000 RPM. But this bike will pull really strong, as I'll show you on the ride in a minute, from 3,000 RPM all the way to the top. It is beautiful, so hang around for that one. Speedometer as well, quick shifter activated, and what gear you're in, which is pretty cool. And of course you've got your fuel gauge there as well, rider mode, traction control, and of course your time and other bits on there as well. So nice, easy setup, works really, really well. Everything that you need, being honest with you, I think it's an absolute peach. What I want to do for you quickly is just give you a live startup as well, so you can hear it. So of course we're neutral, bear with. Now I did ride her over, so she's nice and warm. Let's give it some throttle for you. Nice, right? Not too bad at all. Now, it is Euro 5, okay, but underneath here, and I can't get all the way down to show you, but underneath there, you've actually got dual exhaust ports, if you like. They call it stereo sound from Yamaha. So although it's obviously catted up and Euro 5'd up, it actually makes a really, really good sound. But wait till you hear it under power. It is beautiful. Absolutely awesome soundtrack, and it pairs so well from that CP3 and the roar that you get from the triple. So there we are, guys, there's the walk around for you, and I hope you enjoyed that bit. Now I want to take you out for a ride, so without further ado, let's go. Right, power on. Now, I've put this into D mode 4, which is the lower power one. So I want to show you how that works in practice. Right, so this bit's a 40 here. Get splashed. So while we're in the 40, let's just go through some of the ergos quickly then. So I'm tall at 6'4", I'm a big guy, 21 stone, as you know. It's a very relaxed position, like I kind of mentioned anyway. The bars are maybe a little bit higher than some of its competitors, like the Street Triple RS or the KTM 890R. But I think it works really well, and the reason that it works really well for this bike is because it's ideal as a jack of all trades for doing commuting and touring. But you've got adjustability also, hey chap, in the ride height and the position of these bars, and you've also got adjustability in the rear sense as well. So if you do want to make the bike a bit sportier, track days, that kind of thing, you've got adjustment, and I think that's really, really valuable. But just jumping on ergos is beautiful. It's quite an upright position. It's certainly more upright than some of the others, but that's a really good thing, right? Honestly, it's so confidence inspiring. You get a fantastic view. So if this is like your first bigger bike, you know, you're moving up to it, I think it's going to be a superb choice for that kind of thing. Absolutely superb. And you notice there's a couple of blips down there. The quick shifter, I mean, and the gearbox on this bike is just so good. But more on that in a moment. Let's get out of here. Now, why this is a bit slower as well, what I want to show you then is the difference in these riding modes, okay? So we've got it in D4 at the moment. Now, if I pin this, can you see how relaxed it was? I know it's fast, but look at this again. Nice and relaxed, okay? Now, close the throttle, let's put it up into 2. Have a look again. You see the snappiness, yeah? Pop it up into 1, that's now the first one, top speed, top power. Let's get a tiny bit of distance again. Right, look at the wrist. Can you see how much more urgent that is? So basically, yeah, if you're going to run the bike in, or you're getting used to it, or rain, put it into D4, which is going to be the lower power one, lower torque, build your confidence, get to know the bike, and great for wet weather. Basically, for the rest of the time, pretty much just stick it into 1, because that's where you're going to have your fun, right? Now, controls and everything, like I mentioned on the walk around, everything works really well. This menu one, just as a tiny bit of a critique, might as well be honest, it's a little bit fiddly. Not that you're going to be doing too much of it when you're on the fly anyway, but other than that, everything is absolutely spot on. The screen itself is nice and easy to see. And of course, if you were comparing it to its sibling, which is the MT-07, this is quite different, okay? So that has an LCD and this has got a TFT. So this works really, really well. It's nice and visible. Everything is easy to understand at a glance, and that's exactly what you want. Now it's gone through a few gears there. Now I just want to show you just how easy this quick shifter is to use. Not like going crazy, but the smoothness, okay? So 3,000, Now, the reason I'm mentioning it and that it's important is that not all bikes that have quick shifters work as well as this, and I really want to stress that. This bike not only works incredibly well when you're pushing it and you're pushing the limits and it's buttery smooth, but it's also good for lower RPM, and that is going to be good for your commuting and day-to-day riding, right? So very, very good in that respect. Couple down, so we'll close the throttle. There she is, perfect. Up again. Nice, right? So the gearbox, everything works super, super well. Honestly, massively impressed with it. Massively impressed. Now, little brake test, because we're coming into a 30. Drop it down a couple, and then brake. I mean, it works so well. I'll do a bit more in a minute. Now look, fueling then, being a Yamaha, honestly, they're so well tuned. The engine is impeccable. So 3000 RPM on the CP3, third gear. Imagine you're doing your slower speeds, your commute. Yeah, gorgeous, right? Look at that, impeccable. Absolutely impeccable. Just drop it down in case we need to. So even at low RPM, that quick shifter is gorgeous. But even manual up and down is really good as well. So just a quick one up. Yeah, absolutely gorgeous. So just a quick summary out of here then before we get into some of the faster stuff. Round town really good, fueling excellent, feel from the clutch and the gearbox really good as well. Quick shifter works beautifully. Perfect setup, honestly, so good, especially if it's going to be one of your first bigger bikes. It all works really well. Now the weight of the bike is crazy really, because although I would say this is basically a bigger bike, right, being 889 or 890, whichever you want to kind of round it up to, it only weighs fully fueled 189 kg, which is mental, right? Because although I don't weigh 189, I weigh quite a lot. So, you know, in comparison, like to my big Z, that thing weighs 239 kilograms fully fueled. And with this, you get really usable power, but it feels super light. I mean, I would say it feels literally as agile as the MT-07. And that's basically a high-powered BMX, right? It's awesome fun, the MT-07. Literally one of the best bikes you can buy. In fourth gear, quick pull. Now, can you see how low that power comes in? 3000 RPM. It is bumpy around here, I'm afraid. And it really picks up, which is incredible because, yeah, a lot of bikes have got power, right? And they've got gumption. But they don't have the spread through the gears that this bike has. It makes it quite unique really. Now, it is a characteristic of a triple, and my word is this an incredible example of a triple. I would go as far as to say, and I really mean this, if I was going to buy a triple engine in any of the manufacturers, it would be this one. And would I get this as a naked? Yeah, probably. If I hadn't bought my Z, because of the supercharger and the sploom noises, I probably would have got this bike. It was on my list, but it's so usable and it's so smooth with it as well. Honestly, like the way they've engineered it, it just blows my mind. It is so good. Even from, you know, 3000 in fifth gear, if that's that kind of just getting round something torque you need, it's right there. So super impressive. This is still a 40, but in a minute down here we're going to go up into a national speed limit and I'll give it some beans for you, don't you worry about that. Now before we get into that, just to go back to the pricing then, basically £9,100, right? So in terms of its group then, with the Street Triple RS and the 890R from KTM and even the Z900 from Kawasaki, I think in terms of what get bang for buck with this bike, it beats them all, hands down. It absolutely beats them all. Styling is very much going to be subjective, it's going to be in the eye of the beholder. I happen to think the bike looks pretty cool, and I think you've got great colour choice as well, but everything about it is just a bit more special, I feel. It's not just, you know, the standard wheels, like these are spin forged alloy. Everything about it is a bit unique. It's got a 6-axis IMU, and all of the tech that's come straight down from the R1. And yeah, I just think it's just a really well-rounded package. So just while this bit's a bit slower here then, let's just carry on with tech and electronics then. So you've got 6-axis IMU, so you've got lean sensitive systems and electronics. That's for cornering and braking, traction control and power. And you can also play with the traction control in this bike as well. You've got adjustable settings there. So it's got all of the suite really. I would say it's got everything that you need. Obviously the ABS is quite a big one as well. Independently brake the wheels. Very, very cool tech. And the quick shifter on top of all of that, it just works so well. Absolutely sublime. Yeah, there's lots of cyclists on this route today. I mean, look at the weather. Everyone wants to be out enjoying it. I can't believe we're still in winter actually. I mean, this is just legendary. Absolutely awesome. But again, look at how good the fueling is, right? Just booting along. Beautiful. See how slow we can get it actually, look. Look at the balance on it. Beautiful. Yeah, it's so well behaved. Incredibly well behaved. Now of course you've got the SP variant available as well, and I'll put the specs on the screen. We might do a separate review on that one in the future, but basically let's just say it's £1,200 more, and you get Öhlins goodness on the rear as well as a few other goodies. But I don't know if you need it. I think if you're going to be more track focused, then for sure, but I think for most people this bike offers everything that you need, literally everything. There's a few accessories you might want to get as well, Yamaha ones and aftermarket. I probably would recommend sticking a tail tidy on it, and you might want to get yourself a screen, but that's entirely up to you, that's a personal thing. But yeah, either way, you've got plenty available to you. Now this is national, and I'm not going to go crazy, but I just want to give you a little bit of beans. Ready? Ah, yes! What a peach! Listen to that engine! Yeah, she's awesome. But the beauty of this kind of bike and the power that it makes, which is 117 by the way, is that you can use the power. So when you're going out on the weekends, you know, you can pick a destination and you'll be able to go through the gears, which is such a big part of biking. And I'm a bit of a hypocrite in this really, because with the Z, the big Z that I've got with the supercharger, it's very rare that I can actually use the power on that bike. First gear will take me into, you know, speed braking territory, but with this you can go through the gears, and it's lovely to do so. It's just so sporty but comfortable as well. Back down, look at that, 4 gears up and down. Just beautiful. Even manually, look how smooth it is. Buttery smooth. So to kind of summarise that section then, handling is really good. It's literally point and shoot. She's super agile, she feels very lightweight, but the difference between this and the MT-07 is that you've got some cojones, You've got some more power that goes with it, and a beautiful soundtrack. And even for a stock exhaust, absolutely awesome. Now you can get some aftermarket ones like I mentioned, but I don't think this is bad at all. I think as a stocker, it sounds brilliant. The engineering that Yamaha put in, honestly, superb. It's very impressive. Tip around. So you just need the space, right? You just need the space on the roads. But you get an awesome induction noise with it as well. Man, this engine is wicked. So good. In fact, you know what? Even a non-XP, I would love to take one of these on a track. I really would. They'd be such fun because being in an upright position, you can really see what you're doing. So that builds your confidence anyway. And because the bike is so agile and nimble, you know, 189 fully fueled is light. That's really light for a big capacity bike. Really good. and the playfulness of it, you know, even from low RPM, you've got bags of torque. It's just great fun, and I would just love to see what it can do on a track. And I'm no track expert or anything like that, far from it, but I bet you this would be an absolute blast. So quick summary then, guys. What I would say overall, I think the bike is very well priced. I think you get a huge amount of equipment with it as standard, pretty much everything you could ever think of really, and if you want extra special, go for the SP. Comfort is very, very good. Big guy, heavy guy, really, really good. Ergonomics, absolutely spot on. The electronics are state of the art. You've got all of the bits and bobs that you might need there. I think the screen works really well. Yeah, it's not the biggest, but honestly, it doesn't really matter. The braking is superb. The handling is superb. The power is great. What more can I say? The CP3 engine is just legendary in my mind. It is so, so good. And to top it all off, quick shifter, slip and assist clutch, and an incredible gearbox, right? Absolute winner, winner. Right, we've got a bit of dual carriageway here. Quick shifter down. I'm not going to go crazy. I'm going to go crazy. Just want to go through the gears a little bit. Don't worry about that. Zipper in, nice and smooth. It is rough here. Lovely. So look at that confidence you'll have. So much torque, it's just effortless. Yeah, beautiful, right? So yeah, perfectly smooth, loads of power, easily going to get you to the speed limits that you need, no drama at all. It doesn't have cruise control, one thing I might say, not really a big deal, but yeah, it doesn't come with it as standard. So yeah, loads of power left there. Right, back down through the gears, 5, 4, 3, 2, a little bit less, 1. So smooth, so smooth. Man, I love the engine. So you don't even have to really push it to get a lovely induction noise from it, but it's got a character, an aggressiveness to it, a bit of a rah, you know, with minimal effort, and I love that about it because you don't have to wring its neck to get the fun from it. So smooth. Honestly, if this is your first bigger bike, I can't recommend it highly enough. And if you know you're a mature rider, returning rider, and you want to move down from something bigger, honestly, this could be on your list because you're still going to have a huge amount of power, but you get a comfortable riding position, all day comfort, all of the toys you're probably going to need for the most part, all wrapped up in just a well-priced, well-styled, well-designed package. Everything is just spot on. So there we are, guys, that brings us to the end of this review. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, give it a thumbs up because that really helps the channel to grow. And if you've got any questions, let me know in the comment section below. Big thank you to P&H Motorcycles for lending me this bike for review. You guys are legends, much love. And that brings us to the end, guys, so thanks very much for watching, and as always, stay safe, have fun, and I'll see you on the next one.